One of the things I heard early in recovery was the only way to get sober and stay sober for any great length of time was to always remember the pain. And the kind of addict and drunk that I was, I inflicted a lot of pain. And those wounds, they were as embedded in me as the trauma from my childhood, which I had no control over. The crap that I caused as an adult, I did have control over. But as far as other people are concerned in recovery and a great length of sobriety, I don't want to lose sight of its strength, the hope, the experience that comes along with tenure and spending time not living up here, but exercising this to think critically about where I'm coming from. So I'm cognizant of my childhood trauma and how that impacted the 20s, from my late teens through to my early 30s, when I finally was able to get my first full 12 months. Man, so don't forget the pain that I caused myself. I'm still, in some respect, I'm still paying for some of the things that, after 10 years, I've taken care of all the court stuff. I've got custody of my children. I've got the business stable and generating an income and bringing money in and putting food on the table. And I'm not wealthy by any stretch of the imagination, but I've figured out what my means are, and I try to live there. I think I'm fairly normal, and I've gotten involved in my community. But here's the pain piece, the other pain piece that you can't forget. And this is where I think a lot of people get lost in recovery. And recovery as a lifestyle, you either grow distant and move away from recovery as a lifestyle, or you become ingrained in it. There's a lot of I don't want to use a negative term, but very cliquey, large groups, small groups, communities, all have, if you will, their own taste profiles when it comes to the recovery community. But I think the balance is that you don't need to let go of that. You can still live in the world and recognize unhoused people and the result of an economic downturn for a family resulted in poor decision making, with chasing something that made them feel good for the moment. Something, and I hope I'm not being too abstract. Anyone who's had to put some time and thought into this are probably tracking with me, so ask any questions about anything in this. But the pain that I cause other people in and of itself had to become painful for me to experience when I recall it. And so I have moments when I do look back on what I would consider to be a dynamic fourth step, one that has been ongoing since the last time I did a spot check with my sponsor. And everybody's got a different path. Not everybody has a sponsor. Not everybody has the same pathways. My journey is unique and everyone's unique. That doesn't mean that I'm unique in the sense that because of the unique value of my journey, I need special attention or special anything. I don't need special anything at this point. I've been very fortunate, and I do not want to get lost on the fact that I have a lot of privilege. I have a lot of blessings that have, most of the blessings are blessings in disguise. I have incredibly wild stories, but those are fun to look back on because good things came of those. And at this point in my life, good things have come from all of the carnage, but the carnage never needed to happen, and there's still people that were hurt in the way that I can look back and say, well, things happen for a reason. I don't need to forget the pain that was there. I need to feel that, because the reason I couldn't stay sober in the first place, and the reason I picked up when I was a very young person and latched on to using, is because it was me self-soothing my anxiety, my trauma, the lack of my basic needs being met as a young person when I wasn't able to take care of myself, but being introduced to and exposed to these drugs, alcohol, pornography, the whole lifestyle, unhoused, shelters, domestic violence, parents with multiple partners. My siblings and I bounced between dozens of schools before two of the five of us dropped out. I dropped out my sophomore year One of my other brothers dropped out in 6th grade. Mom took him out of school. He and I have very similar stories. We actually have stories where shared stories, different perspective, and he still lives with those scars. And as much as we heal from the brokenness, it can still hurt. Sometimes you wake up and the weather is right, it hurts. It does. It's a physical thing. So the pain is actually a big piece of what keeps me going and it keeps me sober. I feel like sometimes feeling the pain, and when I say pain at this point, the pain is not, woe is me, I did these screwed up things and hurt people. The pain is rooted in empathy and compassion for the fact that taking myself completely out of the picture entirely and trying to imagine what it was like to encounter and experience the moment that drunk Jared or high Jared ran through someone's life. And those are the sobering details. And I want to stress that the emotion that I encounter today is healthy when I recall those painful memories. The reframing for me has been, again, that the pain is what is keeping me strong. The idea is things don't get stronger without pressure. Your muscles don't get stronger without you going and doing some workout on the muscle and a breakdown in the muscles for muscle to regrow stronger. And you experience post-workout pain. No pain, no gain. So for me, sobriety is all about the pain. Don't forget the pain. Don't let go of the pain. So for today, I guess in my 10-minute recovery rant, I would like to share that remembering your pain and the pain you caused others, but in a way that when you experience the pain today, you grieve, you experience grief, not shame, not guilt. That's not a good feeling. That's not the negative framework that you want to have. You want to frame it as grief. And if you don't know what grief is, there's a lot of information about grief. I'm sure you've heard about grief. So dig deeper into grief. Hold on to your pain and dig deeper into grief and grieve the pain that you caused yourself and others. All right, I'm going to shut up now. It's been 10 minutes.